Coming up next to the stage, this guy, he fought for our country overseas in Iraq, and now he's here to kill you with comedy. Please put your hands together for Nick Stein!
How's everybody doing? I'm sure some of you recognize me if you've been out around on the promenade, walking around, trying to find your car maybe. I'm a downtown ambassador. And if you don't know what that is, well, basically those are the weirdos you see riding around in the Segways, walking around with straw hats at all hours of the night. And of course, the ones that are repeatedly going in and out of the alley, which is weird enough anywhere in Los Angeles, but even more weird in this city because, well, as we're walking into the alley, of course, people are wondering, why is everybody going into that alley dressed up the same? Why is their office in a parking garage? Interesting. But of course, one of the interesting things about any job is occupational hazards. We all have them. Our occupational hazards are approaching. Not just approaching people. You see, during the day, there's day and night. There's ambassadors in the daytime. Friendly neighborhood ambassadors that approach you and your family with a smile and a map and a handshake. And maybe hand your kid a little free trinket. How you doing today, Timmy? Here's a dinosaur pin. Have a nice day. And then there's ambassadors of the night. That's right. You don't think there's a difference between approaching somebody at 11:30 at night with a straw hat when there's no sun and you're not Kenny Chesney? There is. Walking up to a map director and you see somebody leaning over looking at the map and you look over and say, "Hi there, can I help you tonight?" Yes, say, who are you? And I'm like, "Well, can I help you find anything?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, a mace. Where is it?" And of course, at that point, you go ahead and reach down and hand their child a pen. "How you doing tonight, little fella? Would you like a free pen? Would you like to follow me into the alley? Be at a comedy show?" It's not creepy at all, is it? No. And of course, the other kind of approaches we're talking about are not just dealing with regular people, but we deal with all people. When you are in a people business, clap if you're in a people business. You get to deal with all people. Those people. In this case, I'm talking about my first week where I had a rather interesting experience. A gentleman walked up to me, and the first thing I noticed was he's walking a little drunk and staggered. And I used to live in Key West, so I'm like, yeah, whatever, another night. And he gets closer, I start realizing there was fluid dropping off of his hands, and now I'm thinking, okay, did you just take a shower or rob a car wash or what's going on here? So the next thing he walks up to me, and then I start realizing it's blood that's falling off of his arms. Keep in mind, I've been here 1 week, and I've been in LA for about 2 months. And I'm from Indiana. You don't have people walking up with blood dripping off of you in Indiana. They would get beat with a stick from a mile away. Well, of course, at that point, I go ahead and look over at him. I'm like, "Sir, please stop right there. There's an ambulance en route. Be professional." The guy keeps coming closer, and he starts shaking, and the blood's starting to drop on my shoes and on my shirt. And I'm like, get back. You know, you start becoming less professional as the blood gets closer to you, and you start fearing things like, I don't know, whatever kind of possible disease you could get from that blood. Not just to mention, we have to wear white shoes. I mean, come on, you know? As the guy gets closer, I start looking at him. I said, "Sir, that's enough. You need to stop right there until the authorities get here." He looks at me and he goes, "They're after me! They're after me!" And just sometimes when you're nervous, you say stupid things. I looked at the guy and I said, "Actually, sir, looks like they already got you. I mean, whoever's after you, you're already bleeding. Just stay right there, sit on the ground." It's amazing how you have to just take control sometimes. Well, then that goes into the next thing, which, of course, when you deal with all kinds of people and you deal with approaches, you have to deal with the wrong kind of approaches and the right kind of approaches. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Segways. Segways are fun. And see, Segways are rather interesting to me because, once again, growing up in Indiana, we didn't have Segways just cruising down the street. We had ice cream trucks. And that's where it gets more fun because as you're rolling down Ocean Avenue, you happen to notice 6 beautiful ladies and a very rich European man in the middle. Now, let me tell you something. Normally, if I walk by something like that, they're not even going to notice I'm there. But in this particular case, I roll by in a Segway. It's amazing how all 6 heads turn and look towards me. And I'm just like, loving it. How y'all doing tonight? Find everything okay? Well, if you need to find me, I'll just be cruising down the concrete sea here. Got a world of answers, if you're looking for one. And of course, the next question is always the easy one. Can I ride it? Can I ride it? Starting to feel like Dr. Dre. Let me ride. You know? Everybody wants to ride the Segway, and unfortunately, we're not allowed to let them ride it. So that's when you have to look at them and say, not till after work. So guys, let me tell you, if you're thinking about getting a Lamborghini, a Porsche, or Ferrari, save your money. $5,000. Sell your Civic, sell whatever it is you have, just get yourself a Segway. You'll have a great time. 28 miles on a single charge, plug it in any outlet. Good times. Of course, that's where we get to the final story. You see a lot of fun things happen while you're on Segway, and one night, nobody out in the street, we're about to go in. As I'm rolling down the street, I notice a very beautiful young lady walking around the corner. The music starts. And as I see her, I look over and I notice a car is pulled up right next to me. He's looking at me, and it's on. He's looking at me like, I'm gonna get her. She's the last lady on the 3rd Street promenade. She's mine. So I hit the Segway in full gear, and we start rolling towards the green light. And as we get close to the intersection, the light turns red. I stop and help the young lady, and the Prius goes right through the intersection. Thank you very much. Have a great time.